Remember when waking up early on a Saturday morning was fun and exciting? It was much easier in the 90s, wasn't it? Let's get stuff situated. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Now I'm feeling it.
The dude's going, back to the 90s. Dude who loves movies. The dude's going, back to the 90s. Dude who loves movies.
What's up, dudes and dudettes? My name's Cody, and I'm just Dude Who Loves Movies. And today I want to talk to you guys about 5 90s Saturday morning cartoons that you may have forgotten about. But first, I should probably take care of this hair. Just put on a hat, Reptar, Rocco's Modern Life, or Old School WCW. Let's rock the Rocco. Spunky Pew. It matches the robe and the vibe. I went to the doctor and they said, dude, you have OCD. And I said, that's right, brother. I'm one cool dude. I'm too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to 90s month. Oh, yeah. Being a kid in the 90s, we had appointment television just like the adults did. On Friday night, we had TGIF. On Saturday night, we had SNCC. And if you were feeling frisky, on Sunday night, you'd have the Wonderful World of Disney movie presentation. But what a lot of us also had was in the middle of that all was Saturday morning, which was a huge staple in 80s and 90s kids' lives, were Saturday morning cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons actually started back in the 40s, and it's really debatable on when the golden age of Saturday morning cartoons were. To me, I feel like it was 80s and 90s, but that's a generational thing. I'm sure somebody who was born 10 years or 20 years older than me would say it was, the 70s or the 60s. But I feel like the 70s and 60s is when it started, getting its ground, and then the 80s and 90s is when it was red hot, and then the early 2000s to mid 2000s is when it burned out, or started fading, and then 2010 it was done. In the 90s, there was a law passed that Saturday morning cartoons had to have some kind of educational value to it. So that's why if you watch some of these shows, like at the very end, all of a sudden, like the Ninja Turtles will be like, hey, recycle, and don't do drugs, and give hugs, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. So it couldn't be just a half an hour commercial to sell a toy or some kind of product. They had to have something of value to give. With the growing popularity of cable channels like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and the Disney Channel, it really put a damper on these network television spots or the channels with the Saturday morning cartoons on like ABC, NBC, Fox, all those channels, which ended up leading up to the demise of Saturday morning cartoons. That, and kids were more not wanting to watch cartoons, they wanting to, be on phones and tablets and stuff like that. So I'm not really going to focus on the cable channels and what they had going on for cartoons on Saturday mornings, because I can do a whole nother list in and all that on its own. So I'm going to focus more on those network channels. So come with me back to the 90s, back before we all had cable, and let's talk some Saturday morning cartoons. So here's a list of 5 Saturday morning cartoons from the 90s that you may have forgotten. Number 5 is Bonkers. Ran from September 4th, 1993 to February 23rd, 1994, with a total of 65 episodes. Bonkers is about this bobcat named Bonkers D. Bobcat, who is this actor in show business, but his career is failing, so he quits show business and to become a police officer. But the premise of the show is kind of cool. So he is like this toon who kind of goes into the real world. So it's kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it's all cartoon, if that makes any sense. So his partner is this human, and then he's this bobcat, so they're just teaming up, and it's not normal, and there's tunes around. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a really cool premise. And Bonkers is also voiced by the legendary Jim Cummings, who has voiced many iconic cartoon character voices. Bonkers is a Disney production and it had its premiere episode on Disney just for like a preview. And then after that, it was syndicated on network television. And I did see that it is actually on Disney Plus if you want to go check it out. Number 4 is Eek Stravaganza. Ran from September 12th, 1992 to August 1st, 1997 with 75 episodes. Eek had his own show called Eek the Cat, and then he was on other segments on other shows before and after. But I know him more as Eek Stravaganza, which was like I think 96 or 97, where it ran for like a season or whatnot, I think towards the end. So Eek is a purple cat who lives in like this violent, chaotic world, and he lives by a motto, it never hurts to help. And in fact, he ends up getting hurt in every episode trying to help somebody out of the kindness of his, his good heart. So this is a really fun show with a cool premise. He's always getting into some kind of chaotic mishaps, and again, like I said, getting hurt out of the kindness of his heart. And I always pictured like the opening credits or whatever. He's like dancing with like a pig or some other cartoon. It's a really, really good cartoon. I looked it up to see if you can watch it anywhere, and it's not on any kind of streaming service or anything, but there are ways to like download it, but I wouldn't recommend those sites. That's kind of, go at your own risk. I guess it can't hurt to help. Eek! Extravaganza. Number 3, Life with Louie. Airing from September 2nd, 1995 to March 2nd, 1998, with a total of 39 episodes. Life with Louie was one of my favorites. I remember watching it on Saturday mornings, and I also remember watching it before I went to school. That's another cool thing about a lot of these Saturday morning cartoons, is that they would be on Saturday mornings, then later on in syndication, they'd be on like after school, before school, so you could see them whenever you wanted. So yeah, they may have had like 40 episodes, but you felt like it was on for 10 years. So Life of Louie stars Louie Anderson, the comedian, and it's kind of along the lines of a Camp Candy or a Bobby's World, where you had the comedian start the show and end the show. So he did the bumpers as his normal self, not cartoon, and then in the middle would be like kind of a story based on his childhood back in the 60s of growing up. And he growing up like this chubby kid in the 60s. It was a really fun show, and I really really enjoyed it. And I was a big fan of Louie Anderson. Introduced me to Louie Anderson was Life with Louie, and then of course he was on like The Family Feud, and obviously he's an iconic stand-up comedian. Rest in peace, Louie Anderson. Shout outs to Bobby's World and Camp Candy.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Juicy Juice. 100% juice for 100% kids. Deke. Number 2, Bump in the Night. Aired from September 10th, 1994 to December 2nd, 1995, with a total of 26 episodes. Bump in the Night is the most unique one on my list, and probably the most unique Saturday morning cartoon out there. It's about Mr. Bumpy, who is like this warded monster, green little thing that lives underneath the bed. He hangs out with like this rag doll and these dust devils. It's a really cool show and really cool concept. It was stop motion, so it's not really a cartoon, but we're going to let that slide. But it was on during Saturday morning cartoons. But the funny thing is, or the cool thing is, it started off as like those bumpers for when they went to commercials. And then it was so popular during those bumpers that they gave it its own TV show. And the show was really, really popular. But Disney bought ABC back in the 90s. And during that time, they got rid of all the shows that they had during Saturday morning cartoons and replaced them with other ones. And Bump in the Night was a casualty to that. This had an awesome, and I mean an awesome, theme song. I'm a wild green guy living under the bed. I got a little sock before you turn your head. And a great premise. It's a show that it was really cool. I think it would thrive now if it came back. He goes 100 miles an hour, he's doing dynamite. His name is Mr. Bumpy, he goes on and then. Jim Cummings was actually the voice of Bumpy. Bumpy was a cool character. I wish it lasted longer, and I wish more people knew about it. This show is actually available on Tubi, and you can also buy the complete series of it online. Bump in the Night, check it out. My name is Mr. Bumpy, I go bump in the night. Number 1, Bear and Jamal. Aired from February 3rd, 1996 to February 22nd, 1997, with 13 episodes. Dang, 13 episodes? This is a perfect example of having low episodes and low seasons, but I remember it so vividly because they would show them all the time. Man, Bear and Jamal was a really fun show. It starred Tone Loc, the rapper,
The funky Cole Medina. You know what I'm saying?
and also from movies like Blank Check and
This is not the time, Mace.
it's about this kid Jamal who on his 10th birthday has to start becoming a man or thinks he has to become a man. So he puts away his childhood things like his teddy bear, Bear. But then his teddy bear comes to life and it's voiced by Tone Loc. And they have adventures going to school and getting into mishap and all of this kind of stuff. It's a really cool show. And when I looking it up, it said in like 2022 it was available on Roku. I'm not sure if it's still available there or not. I have some of the episodes on a VHS tape that I remember from like Walgreens when I was a kid or whatnot. There's a plush Bear out there that I want to get. I've always wanted it, I've never gotten it, and I don't know why, but I think I'm going to try to snatch it here soon. Bear and Jamal! Yeah, that's another theme song that was banging. Well, that is my list of 5 Saturday morning cartoons from the 90s that you may have forgotten about. And I could have listed so many more, but down in the comments, I want you guys to put down what your favorite Saturday morning cartoon is, whether it was from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 2000s. You let me know down there. It doesn't have to be a popular one, or it could be a huge popular one. Have you seen any of them from my list? I know some of them are kind of deeper cuts, so let me know down in the description. Not the description, the comments. So I get this a lot. People ask me how I stay creative. I have friends who I went to film school with, and sometimes they were like, man, I get writer's block, or now that we're like in our mid-30s, they just like, we're all stressed out. We can't focus on doing this, doing that. I have a answer for them, and a lot of times I get a weird, oh, that's weird. I say, you never let that little kid inside you, that inner kid, grow up completely. And how you do that is you go back to something from your childhood that really meant a lot to you, or something that makes you feel like you're back in that time. And mine is to watch cartoons. So whenever I get writer's block, or I'm not creative, or I'm stressed out, or I've had it up to here with what's going on in life and all the noise that's going on, that's what I do. I'll go back and I'll watch like Freakazoid or Animaniacs. It does something to my mind. It makes that magic come alive again, and I'm able to put it on screen or paper or whatever I'm working on at the time. I know it sounds crazy, but give it a shot. Just go back, watch a few episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just put it on, even if it's on in the background. Guys, 90s month is coming to a close. I have a couple more things up my sleeve, and then we are done. It's been fun. I've gotten so many cool reactions and responses from 90s month and from a lot of my videos. Especially, it's been so cool to see people create their own lists from 90s soundtracks. That's the coolest thing I've seen here. I'm speechless. Thank you so much for that response. I appreciate it. It makes me know that what I'm doing is worthwhile. I'm putting a lot of effort into the videos, and they're not coming out as fast as I want to, but you guys are making it all worth it. Thank you for the positive feedback. I absolutely adore you guys. Thank you so much. I would not be here if it wasn't for you. I did actually just pass my 2-year anniversary. I'm 2 years old. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button, comment, subscribe. You know what to put in the comments. Follow me on Instagram. That's DudeWhoLovesMovies, one word. Cheers, who's respecting. Have a good day. Me and Born Be Rad are going to go ride bikes now, because we're rad dudes. Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck.